Well, I guess I'm live. Maybe somebody's watching, maybe somebody isn't. So, first of all, I'm a psychic. Don't know. I'm not done growing. I wasn't always psychic. I went through my awakening at age 50. Yeah, I'm over 50. So, I'm not using pretty face. It's just my face. Okay. Did I just call myself pretty? Anyways. I was watching this guy, David Wilcock. Now, he is also a psychic and he has all kinds of gifts. But the last video I was watching, he said he was writing his books and he did a series on after he wrote some of his books and he took a hiatus and wrote all his books. Well, he was doing a series and he said that you can't see negative energy. Now, that's not true. I mean, I can see negative energy. I'm like, I can see it on him. I have to look for it, but I can see it. And I see it as a darkness. Like I saw, like this girl asked me one time, I was at an antique show and whatever. That's what I do for a living. I sell vintage linens at antique shows, stuff like that thing back there, these scarves, whatever. So I don't charge people. It's always free. Because I think that when you charge people, your gifts stop because you interject your ego into your spirituality. So I'm trying not to do that. I would like to get some followers so that I could make money out of videos. That's fine, but I can't make money charging people. I mean, especially like with my gifts. I mean, I'm still growing. I sat down at a bar the other day and I'm looking over the guy next to me. I'm like, congestive heart failure? He's like, well, yeah. About a year ago, I was in the hospital with congestive heart failure. And I'm like, well, you still got it. Did you not take heed that you were in the hospital with congestive heart failure? I said, oh, did I forget to mention I'm a psychic, and I can see that kind of stuff? I mean, you went to the hospital a year ago, and you haven't done anything to help your heart. And now I'm giving the information. Now, why? Why am I giving information about people's illnesses? Because it's for the greater good that they stay here in their physical body longer. For the greater good. Now, when you pass away, when a person dies, we are yin yang. I've never heard other psychics say this, but everybody's different. Everybody sees to a different level. Like everything good in every religion is right, except man interjected his ego into the Bible. The Quran is still written by man, so the ego got involved into everything. So anyway, so when you pass away, when you shed your body, the bad part of you is reabsorbed into the earth. And the good part of you goes to a higher level. Okay? Everybody goes. It's not like some people go to hell and some people go to heaven. It's just not true. Okay? You divide. Some people are reincarnated. Many souls are reincarnated. You're reincarnated over and over and over again until you get it right. Okay? As long as you have something to offer the physical world at this level, you come back. But every time you come back, you got to grow a whole new negative part. You don't get to keep the old negative part. Very seldom does that stick with you from lifetime to lifetime. You get a brand new bad part every time. Yeah. And I see it as, in my translation from a higher level to me, my translation of a negative energy is that's passed away. I see it as a rodent because I think of a rodent as a negative thing, or a rat, giant rat, bally rat, sitting there going in a circle trying to be absorbed into the earth. That's why you never want to die in a hospital or old folks home. There's a lot of negative energy trying to be absorbed into the earth at that one single spot, which is no good. Okay, it takes too long. Now, if you've done a lot of bad things in your life, it takes a really long time for that negative energy of yours to be absorbed. So it takes a long time for you to be reincarnated. You can't be reincarnated until this part of you is gone. That's just a fact. Now, David Wilcock, he said, you can't see negative energy. Well, guess what? I can see negative energy. Like, I'll look. I have to look. And like, if it's on somebody, I'm like it's on their hip, right on their right hip. It's on their foot. Like this girl walked in my booth in Warrington. I do this show down in South Texas. And she's like, well, I got any negative energy on me? And I'm like, well, you got a little bit there on your left foot. Like you done stepped in somebody else's shit. It's a cuss word. I don't want to cuss. And she's like, well, as a matter of fact, I did. I was like, well, maybe you should mind your own business. You know, you need to get it off of you. Like, you can't, when somebody's being negative, you can't jump in there and like, yes, sister. You can be there like, okay, well, let's just take the high road and walk away. You know, you have to be a positive influence on them. Be on the higher road, not the jumping in there at their level. When you go to help someone, you need to be up here and bring them up to you. And that's the way that works. So you can see negative energy, and I can see like it's somebody's like illness. There's three parts to this. We got religion, we got science, we got spirituality. We know nothing about spirituality in a sense. We don't. We're just babies learning about our spirituality. Asians not being know a lot more about spirituality than the rest of us do. They're more in tune with their spirituality. That's why COVID lasted so long there. And there's my lawn. Lasted so long there and not, per se here. COVID, I could go on and on about COVID. Now I know why COVID was here, and I know why it came here, and I know why it stayed and what happened. COVID became because our vibration was rising so quick. We were rising because we are third dimensional beings becoming fifth dimensional beings. I can see to a higher level, which I can see illnesses. Sometimes I'm shown the future. I can see your relatives that are hanging around you, or your friends and family. Depends. It might be a cousin, whatever. They always show me something that have passed. They have no body anymore, but they're still there. The reason why that they're with you, by the way, is because they're guarding your spirit, because you're only seeing with your two eyes, not your third eye. And your spirit is huge. It's not stuck in this body. Okay, a piece of your spirit's occupying a body for a short period of time. So they are guarding your spirit. They stand behind you because you're seeing out front, but you don't see the rest of you. So they stand behind. That's why they always stand behind you. Now, some people have a bubble. A bubble meaning they're like, well, why? Can you see my mom? I'm like, I don't know. She's way over there. Why? I don't know why she's over there. Oh, you got a bubble. People make a bubble around them, and sometimes it blocks off good energy and bad energy, and they create their own little bubble, and good energies can't help them. And they do that because they've got difficult jobs. They're around negative people. They come from out of abusive relationships, whatever, So, the bubble. I mean, I'm all over the place. I got ADHD really bad, severe ADHD, okay? And I was fine my whole life until my last accident. I got hit on my motorcycle and I had severe ADHD, and I don't take any meds, so I know I'm all over the place. It's hard for me to focus, but I have a lot to say. It's really hard to talk to a computer and stay focused. David Wilcock says you cannot see negative energy. And then he started going on about, then everything started going south. He's trying to write his books, and he's talking about this negative energy and stuff in his books. Well, whenever you think of a negative energy or a negative thing, it attracts negative energy to you. Like, you can be walking right by negative energy. Negative energy is like, this is what I always tell people that I read. I'm like, you know how you wear a condom to protect yourself from a dirty plank? Well, I wear black obsidian to protect myself from negative energies. Okay? It keeps it from getting stuck on you. Negative energy is like getting dog poop on your shoe. In your tennis shoes, it's in the crevices and stuff, you can't get it out. Okay, you just can't get it out. It's hard to get off of you once you get it on there. And bad stuff just happens. Like, and it is overwhelming. Like, so much bad stuff. It's like, oh, what's going on? You know what? When you know something bad's happening, the first thing you need to do is get you some sage, burn some sage. And you ain't got to do anything elaborate like open your doors and stuff. That's just stupid. Okay? This is a spirit. It doesn't need a door. Duh. Okay? I don't know why people say that. Oh, open the doors and windows and sage your house. Well, they didn't need a door or window to get in. Okay? You probably drug it home with you. Or you did something bad. Or bad intentions. It attracts negative energy. Does anything like that attracts negative energy, it gets stuck on you. It can't if you wear. I'm always wearing. I sleep in black obsidian. I got black obsidian. I got black obsidian. Black obsidian. Yeah. The more the merrier. So you burn sage. You're claiming your space. I'm claiming my space and don't closing any holes to lower level dimensions. That's all you got to do. You walk. Doing anybody special to do. You just burn some sage. I grew this in my yard. You can grow some sage. You don't have to buy it. You can grow your own. I got rubber bands around it. So you grow the sage. You burn it. Walk around your house. I'm closing any holes to lower level dimensions. Any and all negative energy needs to leave the space at once. This is my space. You're not allowed around me, my friends, my family, my cars, my vehicles, my motorcycles, on the property, anywhere I go. I always allow higher level energies to be in my space and help in any way, shape, or form they can. They are allowed to use me, and they do to help as long as it's for the greater good and they're a higher energy. Like, who am I to question it? A lot of people, they say, "Oh, I'm a psychic, but I don't read people because it drains me." Okay, well, this is a higher level energy. They're way up here, and you're way down here, and they want to use you to help this person. Now, you might have to sleep, 12 hours or 14 hours, 16 hours. It happens. Because it's very draining sometimes. You learn how to, their petrified wood is really good. They can draw energy from that instead of you. There's all kinds of other ways that they can get energy. But if you're out and about, you don't got a big old hunk of petrified wood or something with you. Quartz crystals. I mean, I have crystals everywhere. I never let anybody touch your crystals, by the way. And if you want to cleanse your crystals, this moonlight and water bajaz, okay, a certain amount of sitting it outside and getting it cleaned, whatever is fine. But you want to bury it in the ground, let the ground absorb the negative energy off of it. People, we know nothing about crystals. People think they do. We don't. We really don't. There's this one, it's a green one and an orange one, and good energies couldn't come near me and help if I had those crystals with me. And so you got to be careful. So I just stick with black obsidian and maybe some quartz and stuff that I picked up myself. And nobody, like if you listen to Enoch, the book of Enoch, you listen to the book of Enoch, and it's just the one they didn't include in the Bible, in the Holy Bible. I know there's a lot of different versions. I listened to it on YouTube, and he's sitting there talking. He's in this crystalline ship, and they're flying him around the world, and he's describing all these different places on the planet Earth that weren't capable, as 300 years before Christ, weren't capable of knowing or seeing. I don't know how the audio is, but whatever. We'll turn it up just in case it's no good. But yeah, they're cruising around on a crystalline ship all over the world, and he's describing these places. Like, seriously? I mean, they didn't put that in the Bible? Why is that? And I started listening to the Bible. It just doesn't make sense to me. No, I started listening to the Quran. It was the same thing as the Bible. It had more details. They didn't take out as much. It says the same thing. Everything good in every religion is right, but it's a very limited understanding of the truth. Jesus, and I tell you what, so I've gotten a lot of information since I became a psychic. So I get these, this just happened to me. Like, seriously, it was a awakening. At age 50 is when it started. It's been like this for 6 years and I'm still growing. And I get stronger and stronger all the time. At first it was, well, anyway, I'm getting off track. So what it's like having ADHD. Yeah. Many times when you go through an awakening, a spiritual awakening, just so you know, it manifests as, people think they're bipolar, even schizophrenics. So schizophrenics, like they'll be seeing angels or they'll be seeing something negative. They are seeing into another dimension. Or our science explains it this way or that way, but in like ADHD coming out of nowhere. But now I did get a head injury and stuff, but whatever. I did have a head injury, but actually the frontal, when you become spiritually enlightened, the frontal cortex of your brain awakens. So all these electrical signals in your brain have to rewire themselves. They got to find new connections. And mine was so drastic. I mean, I couldn't drive. I couldn't talk. It was bad. I mean, I thought, well, I'm just crazy as a limb, I'm nuts. That's what's got to be wrong with me. But turned out, no, that's not the case. I became a psychic at age 50. So anyway, yeah, and it was overwhelming. Like I woke up, the first thing when I realized, like, oh my God, and like bad stuff. Man, when you go through an awakening, bad stuff just happens to you, okay? Bad stuff. Like I'm talking everything in my world. I just want to cry thinking about it, but everything in my world went downhill. If it wasn't for my best friend listening to me on the phone, I don't know what I'd done. I really don't. It was bad. And my first question, when I realized, like, oh my God, I'm a psychic. So now, if it wasn't for her believing in me, my friend Lily, I swear to God. Anyways, my first question was describe God, right? Describe God. If you're going to be a psychic, first question you want to ask, I said, well, describe God. I was told every good thought, every good intention, and pure love from every soul spirit that ever was, is, or will be in a giant, great big ball. I'm like, wow. I mean, why didn't a minister ever say that to me? I've gone to a lot of churches in my life. I mean, I've gone to all of them, Baptist, Methodist, Catholic, whatever. I even went to a Pentecostal. That was kind of scary. I was young, so. And it is, from a spiritual standpoint, you don't know if that's a good energy or a bad energy when they talk in tongues. And it could be either. If they're not enlightened enough to know what is coming into their body and what they're channeling, then it is, I really disagree with it. Now, if somebody's there that knows and can understand, that's another thing. But spirits just don't possess people and babble nonsense words. Okay? Your brain translates it. They communicate to you in ways that you can understand. And sometimes it's in symbols. I remember the first symbol I got. I kept seeing, like, okay, why am I seeing a blue swirl? Blue swirl. Oh my gosh, I got something in my eye. I'm gonna have to stop this stream and start. I got something in my eye. And now my mascara's running. That's just great. Yeah, I kept seeing it. I was showing a blue swirl, and I didn't know what it meant. Like 2 weeks later, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, it's a symbol. I didn't know they were spiritual symbols, so I go look at it. And then so I look up spiritual meaning of a blue swirl. And it said, it meant that her spirit had come full cycle, and she was ready to go to the next level. That's why I wanted to read her so bad, but I just didn't want to, like, do it right there in the middle of a restaurant to somebody I don't know. Because I was at the beginning, and I mean, now it's just like, I just start telling them, and like, oh, did I mention I'm a psychic? I'm sorry. But anyways, like today I was at the bank, and I had to wait because I was getting a loan, and I'm at the, oh my gosh, it's in my eye. I don't even have anything. So, okay, so anyway, yeah, I had to wait at the bank, and there's a man sitting next to me, an older man, and I was like, oh, you know, I said, you got a problem with your knees? Oh, no, I sat down. I said, oh, my back. And he's like, oh, me too. I had surgery. Da, 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 da. I said, yeah, you got a problem with your knees right now, don't you? He's like, well, yeah, I do. I said, oh, I'm sorry. Did I mention I'm a psychic? I was like, all the hair's standing up on my arms, both arms, you know. And I'm like, that's a yes. You know, it'll be 120 degrees outside and all the hair stands up. That's a yes. A no is in here. It's in here. It's in your chest. And I was like, oh, you got a problem with your knees. And I was giving this information. And I was like, oh, you need to go research that, because they don't have to chop your knee out and put in a fake knee. They can grow cartilage. You need to go grow some cartilage. You know, and I gave my phone number and everything. And I sent him the links, you know, because he's an older man compared to me. He's a lot older than me. And so, you know, because he didn't know. And Spirit wants him to know that he didn't have to go through that. He can grow cartilage. They can, like, with just and stem cells out of you, and they put it in your knee, and then it grows cartilage. I look it up on YouTube. YouTube knows everything. So, yeah. Anyways, so that happens to me all the time. You know, I mean, I walk by somebody, I know what's wrong with them. I'm walking through the grocery store. I'm like, oh, did you know you got a problem with your thyroid? The lady's like, oh yeah, I do. I was like, okay, as long as you know. She's like, how do you know? I was like, oh, I'm a psychic. I can't stop this process, okay? And I'm not gonna. If I get information, I'm gonna share it. I got this mouth on me. There's no strangers in my world. My God, I think it, I say it. You know, just saying. So you can. I keep trying to focus. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. I'm looking at a computer. I'm talking to myself. It's just so weird. Anyway, and I got something in my eye. My mascara's running. So. No, David Wilcock, I got a lot of information when I watch his videos. He's right on cue, but there's a lot of things he's missing. And I can see the rest. I mean, he's so close. But his answer, by the way, I needed to answer him, and I haven't yet. So he said you can't see negative energy. Yes, you can see energy. You have to look to see it. But when you look to see it, just like this, the negative energy could be right here beside you. It doesn't know you're there because you're way up here. You're at a different level than it is. But when you go to look at it, okay, then it can see you. Bing! Now you're illuminated. Okay, it can illuminate. That's the word. Then it can see you now. So when you align yourself, he was trying to write about negative energy, and in all this bad stuff started to happen to him out of nowhere. Yeah, that's what happens, because that's what negative energy does, is it makes everything in your world go bad. Okay, it's bad. So there is a trick. Now when you're talking about negative, now I knew I was going to talk about it, so I brought some sage up here. And as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to burn some sage and cleanse my space, because I talked about negative energy. I therefore attracted it to me. But it can't get on me because I got my black obsidian. Okay, so it can't stick on me. So it might come in my space, but it won't come on me and it won't affect me. Not as long as I have on my black obsidian. It's like a magic stone. Never let anybody touch your black obsidian, sleep in it. I mean, take it off to take a shower and put it back on. Okay? And that's what I was told in the beginning. Like, I was told, because, so when it first happened to me, after I became enlightened, I figured out I'm a psychic, I get the description about God, right? Every good thought, every good intention, pure love from every soul spirit that ever was, is, or will be. I was also given a physical description of God. And they said, imagine, if you will, a big old wadded up string in the sky. Okay? And little pieces of this wadded up string breaking off and coming down here to earth. That's us. And everybody has a different type of connection here. Some are disconnected. Some have a loose connection. Some have a faint connection. I mean, it's like looking at cells underneath the microscope. There can be 1 million different types of connections. So I'm like, okay, so I'm a psychic, and I'm watching. So I started educating myself. I'm watching Gaia. I started watching Gaia. Stopped watching TV. I started watching Gaia.com. I love Gaia. It's all documentaries and stuff like that. So documentaries. Okay. So I'm watching Gaia, and I swear to God, I hear other people describe it the same way. The same exact way as I do. So I call my bestie. I'm like, Lily, watch this on Gaia. Isn't that what I said? Because my friend Lily, man, she's like really smart. I keep telling her how smart she is, but she got this freaking brain. It's like a photographic brain. You say a word, she remembers every single word. Like every single word of every conversation. I don't know where she puts all that in her head, but it's in there. And so she goes and watches what I tell her to watch on Gaia. And somebody else describes God the same way. And she's like, yeah, you said it. You said every good thought, every good intention, and pure love from every soul spirit that ever was, is, or will be, and the string in the sky coming down here. Like the good part inside of all of us, all our good intentions, is what makes up the essence of God. It's not a physical, separate being. Like the Bible has you believe. It's not separate from you. That's why the Bible says God is within you and you are a part of God. Okay? It's the goodness inside your soul, inside of all of our souls, that make up God. Okay? That's just, it's the goodness inside of all of us. So, I wonder if you can see my mascara running. So, I had something in my eye earlier, in case you're... Anyway, so she's like, that's exactly what you said. I'm like, okay. So now I know I'm not crazy. This information I get it like first thing in the morning when I first wake up, and like there's nothing in my head. I'm clear and just I have information. I'm given golden information. Like I went in front of a board of people at one point. I remember every detail, and I'm gonna tell this story because it's a very good story. And I heard other people describe this same thing on Gaia too, and I was like, oh, I'm not crazy. I have to call Lily. Lily. She's like, yeah, that's exactly what you said. Okay, it's the same thing. So this board I went in front of, and this was right in the beginning of my awakening. Okay, I go in front of this board. I go in front. First, it's just me talking to a man. Now, I sell vintage linens for a living. And I'm talking to this man. He was a lawyer. And he wanted to know what it's like to be poor, what it's like to be hungry, what it's like to be dirty. And I looked down and I was like, I left in a hurry. I just grabbed this robe out of the linens. It's dirty. And I showed him the dirt on there. And I was embarrassed. He was like a lawyer. And where we were at, there was no light, but it wasn't dark either. It wasn't light or dark, okay? But it wasn't here on this planet, in this dimension. And we went on to talk, and he just started smiling, and he talked. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you do for food? How do you eat? He said, what's it like to be hungry? And I could show him what it's like to be hungry, because when I was a kid, sometimes you go to the refrigerator and there's nothing in there, not even a mushy pickle that Mom canned. She didn't know she wasn't supposed to cook them so long. Anyway, not even a mushy pickle. We opened up this, no food. Very big house, no food. Lots of nice furniture, no food, no clothes. That kind of thing. So I tell him what it's like to be hungry. I could physically describe that because I've been through that. What it's like to be poor. Oh, yep. I still am, buddy. So my description was really good. So then I asked him, what do you do for food? And he said he absorbed what he needed, his body needed, what his soul spirit needed from, oh boy, My hair. I'm trying to fix it, but it's backwards in the. Okay, whatever. He absorbed what he needed from the air, what his spirit needed for energy. He didn't need food. He was a man, and he represented himself as a lawyer. So, because I respect a lawyer, as they do stuff I can't do, whatever. You have to pay them people. So then he liked that. So he decided I needed to talk to some more people. And so he took me into another room, and there was all this stuff, and all of a sudden I could absorb energy from the air. So this was him telling me how to not sleep, because at the time I was going through my awakening, I was sleeping 16 hours a day. He was trying to tell me how to absorb energy, to draw energy into my body so I won't sleep 16 hours a day being a psychic. So that's what he was trying to explain to me at the same time. It's like, I didn't understand it at the time, and I but I do now. So there was all this in the air, and I was like, I can draw this in to get energy. And now I have to explain to these other people about what it's like to be dirty, to be hungry, to be poor. And I explain it. And now we were in, it's locking. My computer's locking.